everybody. Welcome to another episode of Crimes, Killers, Cults,
And an author.
and an author. I'm Bill, and joining me is Kevin Carlton, the host of the History Goon podcast, which is the officially CKCA endorsed history podcast.
The officially sanctioned history podcast of the show.
Correct. And I'm also joined with Chet Hardin, author. How's it going, Chet?
I'm all right. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I think I'm doing a little bit better than Kevin, though, because
I'm flustered. But I'm also in the middle of thankfully my move is from the apartment I was in to the one directly next door. So that's been a blessing because it's like double the size and it's just next door, so I don't have to rent a truck to do anything.
Yeah.
Well,
that's my kind of move.
Yeah.
It's been pretty good so far, except for the whole just like nothing going.
But it also means that you get no sympathy from either one of us.
None.
No, totally fine. I get that.
If you'd moved across the country, maybe, but
or even across town. But
yeah.
Well, my last move, I took everything out of my house when my wife divorced me in a singular black tote that I made multiple trips with.
Oof.
That was fun.
Okay, well,
just send it back and I'll fill it. Okay.
Well, then in that case, then you're owed. You deserve the easy one.
Yeah, I'll take an easy one now. That's fine.
Because my move into this place, it was horrific. I did everything in my house I carried.
Yeah. Me too.
But we have tonight a very special episode. We're covering the horrific murder of Sydney Loofe. And we're doing something different. We're doing something that I've never done before on this podcast. And if it goes well, this is how I'm going to do these types of things in the future. Okay, not only are we covering this horrible case, but we have our guest, Chet Hardin. He's the author of the brand new book, The Vampire's Cult, The Untold Story of Obsession, Control, and a Shocking Small-Town Murder, which you can purchase on Amazon or wherever else you get your books. Chet, is there a particular website that you would prefer that we mention, meaning that you would get, I don't know, a little more money for it?
No, I don't have any affiliate links or anything. Wherever people want to buy it. Okay. Me.
So now this is interesting. This is something that we hadn't covered when we were emailing back and forth, and I didn't realize this until we talked on the phone yesterday. You actually interviewed the two antagonists in this story.
I did.
So,
yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I probably wouldn't have written the book had I not interviewed them, because I just thought they were the most I felt like that was like a key to like telling this story. So I reached out to Aubrey Trail first and wrote him a letter, and it finally got to him, and I got contacted by him, and he told me that he'd be happy to talk to me, give me access to everything if I gave him 50% of my royalties.
And you're like, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
Sure.
I was like, nah, I don't do that. I'm a journalist. I don't. That's just not how I operate. Sorry. And then he goes, all right, well, how about 30%? And I was like, exactly. I was like, no. I don't think you're catching my point. I'm not going to pay you to talk to you. And he's like, all right, well, how about I talk to you, but I get final say over the book. And at this point, I'm frustrated, right? And I'm just like,
blame you.
Right? And I'm just like, Aubrey, you know what? You're a dime a dozen. I'll just go find another guy, and I'll write a book about him. And I just stopped talking to him.
You told him that?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And it took about a month, I think, or something. And then he's like, all right, you can just have everything. And so he gave me access to everything. And then he started talking to me. And I talked to him for about 24 hours. He was calling me from death row. I could talk to him at 2 hours at a time. We did about 12 sessions, and it was like once a week. So I talked to him about, whatever that breaks out to, 3 months. And then Bailey, it took me a little while to get Bailey to trust me. But once she did, I talked to her. I still talk to Bailey. I talked to Bailey about I don't know, 3 or 4 times the amount of time I've talked to Aubrey. I went to visit Bailey. I sat across from Bailey in 4 different visits.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's got to be interesting to sit across the table from someone who, again, I have not read anything about this book. I came into this completely blind, but to sit across the table from someone who has been found guilty of doing whatever these goofballs have done has got to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it is very strange because she is a person, and she is just has all of the characteristics of anyone else, right? She's nervous, she shakes her foot, she worries about her makeup. She's she's a person, right?
Yeah.
So, but
she's a person who probably just got her. She was probably vulnerable. She was probably at, right place at the right time as far as Aubrey was concerned, and that's how you get sucked into a cult.
Yep, and it doesn't absolve her or
No,
excuse
not one
anything
bit.
she did, right? But it is there's a path you can follow and to understand her. So yeah, it's a very complicated dynamic to sit across from someone like her.
Yeah. Also, you have another book, Chet. What's it called?
Oh, the program. That was written with Tony Natali back in 2019. It's about her experience as the girlfriend of Keith Raniere, the leader of the sex cult NXIVM. Which yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I kind of I go way back with NXIVM. I started reporting on them in 2006 when I was news editor at an alt weekly up in Albany, and that's how I met Tony. Yep, and that's how I met Tony. She was being just like harassed through the court system by NXIVM. They had entered into her bankruptcy, which they kind of forced her into to begin with. Right. And they were just trying to destroy her life. So that's when I started talking to Tony and Keith.
Are you based out of New York?
I was. Now I'm in St. Louis.
Oh, okay. I say because Albany's like 2 hours or so from me.
Oh, really?
Yep, I'm out in the middle of nowhere in Vermont that nobody's ever heard of. A town of like 2,000 people.
Oh, well, I probably have because I used when I lived in Albany before I was a journalist. I worked for a company that delivered computer networks to hotels for Adobe seminars. And so I would drive all through Vermont and I'd drive into these hotels. I'd set up the network. So I've been to Rutland more times than I can count.
I'm the next town north of Rutland.
Oh, serious?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
With our one flashing stoplight and 2 gas stations.
Hey, yeah.
So, it's nice though. It's quiet. There's not a lot going on. It's peaceful for the most part.
But Chet will be joining us once again when we cover NXIVM, doing the same thing that we're doing now. Basically, I'll be telling the story, and he'll interject, with any information that might not otherwise be available, which is what he's going to do with this episode, which makes it different from any other episode with an author that I've ever done. We're just trying to make it more interesting for the listener, rather than just a Q&A session with an author.
And honestly, that seems how most shows when they interview an author, that's usually what it is. Just like, hey, tell us about the, it's kind of a new take on it, especially for your little show here that we do and the horrible things that we talk about,
Yeah.
And I don't care what you say about the numbers. The episodes that we did with Kent,
they're great.
So interesting because that guy went through some shit. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that poor guy.
Yeah, and I told Chet about that yesterday. Kent McGowan, the cop.
Yes.
The guy,
yeah.
But there is one more thing, and then we'll get started with the story. You said there's a docu-series about this case coming out on Netflix.
Rumor has it there's a documentary in the works that's supposed to be coming out on one of the major platforms. That's like I said, that's the scuttlebutt. So
okay. Well, it's just interesting. But
yeah.
you're hearing it here first. I guarantee it. Well, not you, Chet. I'm talking about our listeners.
First time I've heard of it.
Because I heard it from you. So
Yeah.
So, but by the way, I said we're going to be mentioning some things. So Chet's going to be mentioning. I may mention some too that you're not going to get anywhere else because I had his book and everything. But this isn't going to be like, well, I've heard the episode. I don't need to buy the book now. Because case in point, the book is around 330 pages long, and this is just a one-part episode. So for clarification, the Willie Picton series had well over 300 pages as well. I think it was closer to 4 in that one, and that was a 4-part episode.
Wow.
So you're getting some, but you're not going to get anywhere near the whole thing. So you're definitely going to need to go out and get that book if this case interests you. So sources are The Vampire's Cult, The Untold Story of Obsession, Control, and The Shocking Small Town Murder by Chet Hardin, our guest, and which you can purchase on Amazon or wherever you get your books. Chet Hardin himself, a little bit of wiki, and I also used the Heartland Homicide documentary, season 1, episode 22, just to get a basic timeline. And a documentary was weird. It had a guy, one of the people that they had on, I hope that this isn't somebody that you're friends with, but
Probably not.
He's explaining dating apps like they're an unknown commodity. Like he had exclusive information on it, and I almost felt like he was mansplaining it to me. He's like, it's like a website on the internet where people can be. I was like, oh, really? This documentary came out in like 2020. I think everybody knows what dating apps are.
Dude.
No, but everything else that he said, I'm just that just seemed a little weird to me. But everything else that he said was good information.
I haven't seen it, but I doubt anybody very close to the. I can almost assure you, anyone close, like cops, lawyers who were involved, weren't in that documentary. Everyone is pretty has been pretty. Well, it's Nebraska, so people are kind of they keep to themselves. They don't really, they don't really want to be in documentaries or talk to reporters too terribly much.
So on November 15th, 2017, Sydney Loofe had a date. Not the kind of date that we play a song for, Kevin, but a date that she had set up on Tinder. Oh, we'll play the song later.
Yay.
She was never seen again, and she was reported missing the next day when she didn't show up for work. She had basically just disappeared. 3 weeks later, her body had been found around 60 miles from where the date had taken place. Pieces of her body were found alongside of a gravel road, and she had obviously been dismembered. So, Sydney Irene Loofe was born August 21st, 1993, in Broken Bow, Nebraska, to George and Susie Loofe. She had an older brother, Levi, and a younger sister, Mackenzie, and they moved to Neely, Nebraska, in 2011. She was into sports, but that wouldn't last, unfortunately, due to the fact that she developed scoliosis in 2000.
Oh.
That'll put a damper on your sports career.
Yeah.
But she was really good at fishing. She was the best angler in her family of anglers, and she got that title when she was a little kid. Okay. She graduated high school in 2011, and she moved to Lincoln, Nebraska with her cat, Mimsy. I got a picture here of Sydney and Mimsy. And she actually found this kitty in the classified and adopted it. But Sydney got a job working for... Oh, by the way, people, if you don't see Kevin, he's having internet issues. He might pop back in. He might not. We're just going to go on without him. If he, he can join in if he wants to. But so I'm just letting you know, if he's there 1 minute and then not there, he's having internet issues because, like you said earlier, he moved. He's moving. So... Anyway, Sydney got a job working for Menards, which is a home improvement warehouse store. She liked her job, and she was really liked by the regular customers as well as her coworkers. She would also go out of the way to help people if they were in a bind, and she would even let people crash if they were down on their luck. I mean, she did that twice. Just brought somebody in. You can crash on my house. You can crash on my couch for a couple weeks. Her brother said that even as a kid, she would put others ahead of herself. And that's just the type of person that she was.
Yep, that's every thing I read or heard about her was that she was a very sweet, giving person.
Well, we always say it's always the people that in these stories that get killed that are the ones who would light up a room. The everybody liked them and all that stuff. It's never just a freaking scumbag where like, oh, well, he got killed by, oh yeah, that asshole deserved it.
Yeah.
It's never them.
No.
But her generosity didn't extend to her brother Levi's basketball team. He was a Lakers fan, and she absolutely hated the Lakers. It didn't say who her. Do you know who her team was?
No.
It could have been the Oklahoma City Thunder, but they were the Seattle Supersonics until 2008 when they moved to Oklahoma. She would have been 15 at that point. So I'm guessing that she was either a Denver Nuggets or a Minnesota Timberwolves fan.
Mm-hmm.
Just my guess. but I'm definitely with her on hating the Lakers. Sydney had issues with anxiety and depression, and she had it bad too. And days before she disappeared, she had told her parents it was getting worse. And she collected crystals, thinking that they could help with her pain. And her mother had even driven her to the doctor to get an emergency prescription of antidepressant pills, and that was the last time that anyone in her family saw her. And that little detail is what makes this even worse. Mm-hmm. Put a knife in that.
Yeah.
I say put a knife in that because this is a true crime show. Instead of saying put a pen in that, I say put a knife in
that. Sort of. Oh, there he is.
It's like it was just screaming through outside.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I told the audience that you might be in and out because you're moving and weather issues and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I'm trying my hardest though.
I know, but so I guess we will try to make this a mystery. It's pretty obvious that this Tinder date was partially responsible for what happened. So let's meet this scumbag now, shall we? She had swiped right on a woman named Aubrey. Now, Aubrey was raised in Leon, Iowa. Her father was murdered when she was a baby, and in a bit of foreshadowing, her father was shot with a shotgun and left to decompose in a field.
Yikes.
She was a bully in school, but she was also an accomplished athlete, which was probably, I mean, she was like one of the fastest runners, and she was an amazing basketball player. And this is probably honestly how, what Aubrey and Sydney kind of hit it off with, mm-hmm. because they're both high school athletes. Mm-hmm. She was offered a scholarship, but she found drugs after she graduated high school, and she dropped out of college and turned her back on the scholarship because she got caught smoking pot and was kicked off the team. If she had been in college basketball now, that wouldn't even be a problem.
No, you can take money now in college from,
Yeah. I mean, and to find somebody that's capable of murder, yeah, she'd be right for the WNBA. These days, anyway. But to say that she fell in with a bad crowd would be an understatement. She had gotten married right out of high school to an abusive prick named Freddie Pennell. And when I say abusive, I mean he ran the trifecta. Physically, emotionally, and sexually abusive.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
They were never married.
They weren't married?
Nope, they just dated.
Oh, okay.
They had a child together.
Well, I knew that. I was getting to that.
Yeah. No, they were never married.
Oh, I thought they were married. Okay. The couple had a daughter, but Pinnell had beat her throughout the pregnancy as well. He was also running scams on Plenty of Fish where she would ask for money but then never show up on dates. And I don't know. I know from my days on dating apps that would happen every now and then. You'd have somebody, could I get $50 because I need some gas or what? That stuff does happen.
Dude, trying to rent an apartment. I need a $50 fee for you to go look at it. Okay, cool. And then you put the address in, and it's somebody's house, and you're like, "This isn't for rent." Nice try.
Oh, I was looking for a house one time, and this Facebook thing that I had found, this woman was telling me, the supposed owner of the house, she was telling me to send her $700 for the deposit, sight unseen. I was like, yeah, fuck off.
No, thank you.
And then she's like, I'm a good Christian woman. I said, no, you're not. If you were a good Christian woman, you wouldn't have to tell me that you were a good Christian woman, and you wouldn't want me to send you $700 sight unseen on a house. Yeah, well, we'll refund it if you don't want the house. Yeah,
nah,
right. That's if I could find you, and I would find you. But it really didn't work because, like I said, it never worked on me, and I was on dating apps for probably a good 3 years. Thank God I don't have to deal with that crap anymore.
Right? Same.
Oh man. But then Freddie discovered Backpage and made Audrey pimp herself out. She said that this was when she started hating men. Drug abuse problems cost them custody of their daughter, and Audrey then moved to Princeton, Missouri to start over. Yeah, your neck of the woods there, Chet.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work, and Audrey spiraled and wound up with a crew of less than reputable individuals. She got heavily into drugs and alcohol. She was raped twice, and after that, she didn't care about herself and slept around for validation from men. She was attempting to make her feel better about herself, which I get it, but that's not the way to do it. And at this point, we're in the feel sorry for the younger person stage. That's where we're at right now. Like if it was a kid, you feel sorry for the kid. You don't feel sorry for the adult serial killer that kid turned into.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So. Mm-hmm. So after dropping out of college, she got a job at Crossroads Bar and Grill, which was a typical restaurant, and she did pretty good there.
I've been there.
Is it a restaurant?
Well, no, I think she turned it into that a little bit. It's just a little like little country bar, bar and grill, like little town, like it is at the Crossroads. So literal name, yeah.
Ralph Macchio wasn't out there with a Telecaster, was he?
No, he was not.
I am a guitar player, and that scene just makes me cringe because I can. If you knew what he was playing, there's YouTubers out there that have figured out exactly what he's playing during his duel with Steve Vai of all people.
Oh, funny.
And they played what it actually sounded like. It's hilarious, and Steve Vai, Ralph Macchio beat Steve Vai in a guitar duel. Right, like Dr. Evil would say. Anyway. But
it's not like Robert Johnson standing out there with a guitar or something.
No.
Wrong Crossroads, I'm assuming.
Well, that's what the movie Crossroads was based on. It's actually a really good movie until you get to the duel part.
It's a really good movie until it's not.
Yeah. But that scene literally is Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean,
fantastic.
No, it's a good movie, except for, and I guarantee you, it's only guitar players that are going to rip that scene apart. But she had met a man named Aubrey Trail as a client. You guys, Audrey and Aubrey. Aubrey. Okay, Aubrey with the B for boy. Okay. He was abused as a child. He wound up in prison at 17 years old in Tennessee for armed robbery. He was a wealthy antique dealer, and he took care of her. He had rented her a place for her, and he would stay there with Audrey, but he would disappear from Nebraska and back. He'd just go elsewhere for days at a time. But when he was in town to see Audrey, he would show up at her job and just sit there and wait for her to get off. And then they would go back to his apartment. It's her apartment, but he's the one paying the bills, so it's his. Am I on the right track here, Chet?
So far, yeah. So yeah, and
I mean, you could chime in anytime.
Well, I think it might be important to point out at this point that Aubrey is 49 years old when he meets her, and she's in her early 20s. So, right. And he's not, and he is not age. He has not aged well either. He's
in fact, I got a picture of him.
He's closing in on 300 pounds. He has two rotted front teeth.
And he's probably not very tall either, is he?
No, I think he's 6 foot, around there, okay. Above 6 foot or above, but he's not. Yeah, he's not huge. Yeah, you can see right there.
He looks like a thumb with a toupee. Yikes.
Yeah.
I love that. See, this is why I want you on the episode, Kevin.
So I can say mean shit.
Yeah, that picture captures his essence. Well, I mean, Yikes. he's grumpy right there, of course, because he's just got arrested, but he had to work to win Audrey over. I mean, he told her that one day that she'd be his, and she was just kind of playing hard to get. She also sees him as a client, and she hates men. She hates clients. They're there to pay the bills. But he had introduced himself as Alan Gambino. Yep.
I'm sorry, but he does not look like a Gambino to me.
He claimed to be a button man for the Gotti family, and and if you talk to him or you've ever listened to that Facebook video they did, he has a Tennessee drawl.
I've got that. I've got the clip.
Perfect. So when you hear that Tennessee drawl, just imagine him selling himself as a hitman from the Italian mob. Yeah.
Leave that there gun. But take them cannolis.
Yeah, so I'm kind of, that's my brand of true crime, is organized crime, stuff like that. The Gambinos never did anything related to anything in that area. I mean, there is a crime family out of Kansas City, and it's not them. I mean,
no,
those guys are all hooked in with the Chicago outfit and all that, and they're kind of gone at this point. But
yeah, they didn't make it all the way down to Tennessee.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Then there's the Dixie Mafia, but that's a whole different thing.
That's a whole different mafia.
Yeah, those are the ones that Buford Pusser was all roped in with.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And probably the weakest.
Probably killed his wife, but we can't really say yes or no.
Probably the weakest of the mafias would obviously be the Buffalo Bills Mafia.
Hey man, listen. Anybody that's willing to get hammered in a parking lot and put themselves through a table is okay in my book,
Well, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I'm allowed to say that the Bills suck. and any Bills fans that we have for listeners, they will agree with my right to say that, and then they'll come right back at me and say, "Hey, what's your record over the past 5 years?" And I just have to be like, "Who's your quarterback?"
Hey, listen, Dan Marino and was it Scott Norwood both have the same amount of Super Bowl rings. So
all right,
really
Kevin,
matter.
You're fired.
All I'm saying is my quarterback here ain't out of fingers almost. So I didn't even like the guy.
Laces out. But he ultimately became her sugar daddy after she had moved on. But she had contacted him again when she was in a really bad spot. Then he started love bombing her, sensing vulnerability. Thank you.
There we go. I got you, Bill.
Yeah. See, this is why I need a co-host. But he began love bombing her, and the rest is history. Once she was roped in at the apartment, she was doing whatever he asked, and he showed her his kill bag.
Oh, Jesus. I thought you were going to say something else.
Well, she had already seen that.
Yeah. Nothing to write home about, I bet.
I don't know, Chet.
I confess I could have seen I had access to some videos, some compromising videos of them, but I never looked. I knew they were there. Yeah, I knew there are just some things you can't not see. And but I know it was in the videos, and I avoided them.
Yeah, he was also telling her that one day she would have her own kill bag. The whole thing is, well, we're gonna get into there. I kind of like this part. I wasn't really sure what to cover, so I was hoping I could lean on you, Chet, for this.
Sure.
This is right around. Audrey ran with a coven of a somewhat local coven of witches. Basically,
God.
goth chicks, and Aubrey was the warlock. But
yes.
the vampire daddy. Excuse me.
Yes, he was a 1,000-year-old vampire, and who could go out into daylight, but just chose not to.
He didn't sparkle.
No, he didn't. Oh, he does not sparkle, and he
he looks like he's half melted anyway.
But yeah, so he's this leader who leads this coven of 12 witches, and supposedly they've been with him for many lifetimes, and they all have superpowers, and
awesome.
yeah.
They're white girl magic with crystals and stuff.
Well, no, black magic. They can heal you with their thoughts. They can.
So like the Jedi in the sequels.
Yes. Yeah, they can talk to animals. They can see the future. They can be really strong. One of them's really strong.
Yeah, so it's basically like the Justice League.
This sounds like a bunch of dorks to me, but hey, what do I know?
Well,
as someone who's fascinated with vampire lore,
Well, we're going to get to because I got a little, a couple sentences about several of the witches, but there's one in particular that I wanted you specifically to tell us about, Chet, and that's Ashley.
Okay, well, so we should separate the witches. There are the 3 young women that testified at trial, and they are often referred to as witches, quote unquote, by the media. And then there's this dozen of witches that were in Aubrey's coven that...
dozens, you say?
A dozen. 12 others.
I thought you said dozens, like plural.
No, a dozen. And that coven that predates their move to Wilbur, I never saw them show up in any FBI files or any police reports. There were no interviews with any of them, no interrogations with any of them. I haven't been able to track many of them down, if any, a couple. So, but whether they know they're witches is up for debate. So I think that
so much.
I think that speaks more to Aubrey's mental state than it does to the actual state of these women being witches.
Aubrey is obviously a master manipulator.
Yeah. And so I guess what I'm getting at is whether they are witches or not. Whether these other women even knew that Aubrey had like pulled them into his mythology, we don't know.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so they're not like actively participating in it, in the whole like witchcraft aspect of it.
I have no evidence that these women, if they exist, participated with Aubrey Trail. No.
Well, I mean, before we get to Ashley, just one of them, Carly, she was deaf, but she was also a lawyer. Tell me if I'm wrong here. You feel free to correct me.
No, yes.
Brooke was the wild one. She lived in Kansas City. She was a nymphomaniac into violent sex and even rape play. And she had a thing where she would end every sentence with bitches. Like,
yep.
I want to order a pizza, bitches.
This?
Huh?
When did this happen?
The murder took place in 2017.
Yeah. So
yeah, that would track then. Yeah.
Michelle was a doctor, and Michelle was Audrey's favorite. Or was Audrey or Aubrey's favorite? I think it was Audrey's favorite.
Audrey's.
Yeah. There were several others, 12 in all, including a 14-year-old girl named Ariana. And Audrey kept a list of all of them, including what their specific power was, which the FBI wound up finding, and that's what you were just talking about. That's how that's where what their individual power was. But Ashley is. Tell us about Ashley.
Ashley is a young woman that was catfished on Tinder by Aubrey, and as you're calling her so far, Audrey. They used photos of Audrey because she was a young, pretty woman, and so they put her picture on the Tinder profile, and then as far as I know, Aubrey was the one who would do all the direct messaging, to these young women. So Ashley was one of the women who was catfished, and she was kind of lured in with the promise of she could be supported by Aubrey, a sugar daddy type of relationship. I think that was kind of like floated as an option, and she kind of got caught up in the lore like right away. She was she liked all the talk about witchcraft, and none of it turned her off. None of it like scared her away. The talk of murder, the talk of witchcraft, all of that stuff. So yeah, she was she kind of bought into all of it.
Yeah, but she would they would have this talk about like Aubrey wanted to kill a woman, and yes, I think I remember he wanted to no, it wasn't I think it was Ashley. Wasn't she the one that like wanted to run somebody down with a car and whatnot?
No, Ashley had she expressed other interests in how to torture and murder people at the time. But yeah, she was into it. Aubrey asked her if she would kill, and it sounded like she was totally down for it. To
scary shit.
Yeah, and she also saw the kill bag that you were talking about earlier. Ashley also saw it as well. And it had Ashley saw it, and it had like a hammer, pliers, I think, sauna suit in it, which Aubrey told her was to protect from the gore.
Yeah. Well, just like, it sounds to me like they plagiarized a Dexter kill bag.
Is that true? I've never seen Dexter.
Oh, Dexter's great.
Yeah.
Or like maybe even closer to like an Israel Keys, like the murder buckets that he was burying.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Audrey was the newest member of this coven, and Aubrey took a liking to her. He went on road trips a lot and would take her with him. And she had gotten her daughter back, and she would leave her with her grandmother on these trips, never really saying how long she was going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
But Aubrey would shower her with gifts. They'd go to casinos. They'd also rob antique stores. I mean, they came up with this whole little scam about how they would just basically, one would be the diversion, the other would be the crook, as far as like robbing the antique stores that they would then turn around and sell. And that's basically how Aubrey made his money, and he was apparently very, very good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they made hundreds of thousands of dollars.
So
in a short period of time.
They're much better at it than the crackheads that hit the local Home Depot and just steal all like the diamond tipped drill bits and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was Aubrey's life. I mean, his entire life he was a con man and a thief. So his entire life he was always robbing antique stores and getting caught. Well, and the reason he got caught more than anything is I just don't think he cared. Like, he would pass bad checks in his own name, like,
oh my god,
and he didn't care. He just didn't care. He just would wait to get arrested and go to prison for a little while, get out, and the checks were never huge, so he'd get out after a little bit and just go right back to it, just robbing antique stores. He loved robbing antique stores. I've never met a person who loved
such
something
a weird
as much.
mindset to live in, you know.
So it wasn't like Charles Ng got busted carrying a vice out of a store.
Oh, and that led to them getting arrested. Yeah, no.
Oh, he got arrested for that. Very nasty serial killer, part of a pair of serial killers.
That's one of the most. That's
Leonard
one of the worst.
Yeah, Leonard Lake.
Yeah, they're like murder cave that they had, or tunnel or whatever they dug. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But this part kind of cracked me up. One of the spiritual places that Audrey liked to go was Loosedale, Mississippi. It was a place that, according to Audrey, had portals that Aubrey had. I'm getting confused here. Had portals that led to other realms, and the veil that separates reality to the others was very thin there. But it was also dangerous because it attracted dark entities. Aubrey was from the deep south, and when they would be visiting his home, he was ready to show off this pretty young lady. And in one instance, though, Aubrey had an out-of-body experience and wasn't himself. He said that he had been in what he called the 10th realm, where he was king, or where he was a king, but then he snapped out of it, saying that he had been about to die, but Audrey had pulled him out. This story found its way back to the coven, and they all agreed that Audrey one day would be a great queen.
And I mean, in his defense, there are places like that when you go south, like you hit Appalachia, and it is just like the Wild West after dark. Don't really hear much about that with like Mississippi, you know, with it being like very
New Orleans.
Thin. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I know that's in Louisiana. Don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say a lot of things about Aubrey Trail. He has a great imagination.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he should have been a writer.
He was too busy robbing antique stores, Bill.
Right.
I think he's a little too lazy to be a writer too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal this typewriter and never write my book.
But still, he was manipulating Audrey. One time, he flipped out on her for changing the radio station in the car. This led to him saying that he was too old for her. And later, one of the witches texted Audrey saying that Aubrey was in the hospital after a suicide attempt. Audrey wanted to go to him, but he told her, just, you stay put. He's still milking the fake anger over the changing of the radio station. And Audrey then said that she loved him, and that changed everything. Aubrey forgave her, and everything was back to normal. I mean,
something about the concept of witches contacting each other via text message is weird to me.
I like the fact that you picked that segment of the book out because I've always really liked that story ever since I was told it, because it's just so kind of pathetic, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I picked it because I picked it just for that reason. It really
yeah,
illustrates what we're dealing with here.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
also reminiscent of Sergio Andrade and how he gaslit young girls into thinking that they loved him because he was so special. That
yeah.
was episode 46.
It
Sergio
also
Andrade and Gloria Trevi.
it also reminded me a little bit of the Facebook killer episode that you did, where the guy got mad because his girlfriend or wife or whatever was
yeah.
like on Facebook Marketplace or something.
Yeah.
He used that as an excuse to
Oh, she's hooking up with other dudes when
she's
she
like
wasn't.
looking at coffee tables or something.
Yeah. But let's get back to Sydney now, shall we? We've talked about this chucklehead enough. Sydney Loofe was like any other 20-something. She wanted a relationship. And I'm not sure if she was lesbian or bisexual, and it really doesn't matter, but she had gone on to Tinder looking for women to date. She had gone out with a couple of women, but they didn't pan out. But she stumbled on a woman named Aubrey, and they got along really well and messaging and talking on the phone. But put a knife in that. They set up a first date for November 14th, 2017. Sydney was excited for it, and she thought that there was a chance that this could be it. The date was really great. They got along really well, and they got set up for a second date the following night, November 15th. For both dates, Sydney told people that they were, or where they were going and who she was going with, so she was playing it safe. But her mother did not know about said date. So there's messages from her mother. It's like, who is this date? What's this date that you're going on? So she didn't tell everybody, unfortunately, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Mm-mm.
But November 15th was just a normal day for Sydney. She got up, fed her cat, got to work on time, worked her shift, then went home to get ready for a second date with Aubrey. 6:54 p.m., Sydney got a text, and Aubrey was there to pick her up. She quickly took the now ominous mirror selfie photo and posted it on Snapchat with the caption, "Ready for my date." And that was the last time that anybody of any importance saw her alive. And I've got that picture right here. And that's the last picture that was taken of Sydney. Just ready for my date. Just a picture. She's kind of looks excited, whatever, but whatever. She's ready for a date, and
Yep.
That's why I called it ominous, because that was the last picture that was ever taken of her. But
Just
November
a kid. I mean, she's,
16th, huh?
like basically just like a kid, getting ready to,
Yep.
November 16th, Sydney didn't show up for work. You'd never missed work and would have called if something had come up. And it didn't take long for friends and family to start getting worried, because she had been keeping in touch with everybody. Her parents came to Lincoln on the 17th to try and find her. They went to her apartment. Of course, found everything in order other than a pissed off and hungry cat. And her car was still there. And her, everything looked like, other than the pissed off and hungry cat, which that too was out of character for Sydney, because she would have never let anything bad happen to that kitty. So they called the police and went to her job and have them pull the CCTV footage, and all it showed was her leaving work when the shift was over. But this, I've never heard of a case where CCTV footage was used as much as it is in this one.
I mean, not here. Like you get over into like the UK and they use it a lot because they've got so many.
Well, it was apparently there's a lot in Nebraska.
I think in was it London? I think there's like 3 cameras per person in the city. Is like how the math comes out on it.
Yeah.
There's a ton of CCTV security cameras up there.
CCTV footage. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
But
Well,
I know
you're, I know you're going to get to it, but the one of the reasons why there was so much security camera footage was because Aubrey, being the criminal mastermind that he is after he committed a murder, he went to a casino.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, so he went to the place where he would be on camera constantly. Yeah.
But
may as well have just done it in the parking lot of the police station.
Well, according to him, he did. So put a knife in that. But her friends were already sleuthing. They had the mirror selfie as well as a picture of Sydney with Audrey from the first date. I don't have that picture. I should have. But they made a fake dating profile on Tinder, and they matched with Aubrey. These women were on point. They hit it off with Audrey as far as she was concerned. She gave them her phone number, and they contacted police with that information. Police contacted Audrey, and she said that she and Sydney had gone on 2 days on the 14th and the 15th, but she hadn't seen or heard from Sydney since then. And this was all done on the 17th, so somebody give these ladies a badge. Mm-hmm. Now or yesterday.
Her friends were looking out for her, that's for sure.
Yeah, but this another episode that this goes back to is the Stephen Port episode, Kevin.
Yep.
Because remember they did the same thing to that guy, tried to set up dates with him. Yeah, because there was the last time. But this guy was a serial killer, though.
Yeah, I was saying this goofball was never on Kitchen Nightmares or whatever it was.
Yeah. Master Chef.
There it is. He was one of the background sous chefs or whatever.
Oh wow.
Yeah. With his terrible hairpiece.
Next day, police spoke to Audrey again. She said on the 15th that they drove around Lincoln smoking weed. Then she dropped off Sydney at a friend's house, but that they made plans to see each other again on the 16th. She's still sticking with the haven't seen her since angle. But police then started looking into other scenarios about what could have happened to Sydney, although they hadn't ruled Audrey out as a suspect completely. She was a person of interest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last person that was seen with her, makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering why they didn't ask for the address and the name of this so-called friend and go talk to her.
Well, so they pressed for that.
Oh, they did? So they should have arrested her right then on the spot when she didn't give them an answer.
Oh, so this is interesting. So Aubrey and Audrey, as we're referring to her, they were on the run. So they go to this casino, and they spend a couple of days at this casino, and then these phone calls happen. And Aubrey, of course, is panicking a little bit because it's like, how did the police track us down so quickly? And so they leave the casino, which is in Council Bluffs, which is on the east side of Nebraska. Yeah. And they hightail it across Nebraska into the central part of Nebraska. So they're on the run at this point. So the cops are talking to Audrey, but she's like, I'm not coming. They're like, we need to see you. Come here. Come to us. And she's like, nuh-uh, I'm not going to do that. She's being a real brat about it. So,
but I don't know. It just seemed to me like they didn't. Did I miss something? Because I didn't. I got to a certain part in the book, and I was just like, okay, I think I got enough. But yeah. Since I was going to have you on anyway.
Yeah, no, they definitely. I would not. I thought you were going to point out the when the three women went to the cop in Lincoln and was like, hey, our friend is like talking to this cult leader in Wilbur, and they didn't do anything about that. But no, I think the cops did a great job. But at that point, she is like on the run, and she's refusing. She was in the wind. They had no idea. And they were like, where are you? And she's like, I don't want to tell you because I have a warrant for my arrest. And they're like, "What's your warrant for?" And she's like, "Marijuana." And they're like, "We don't care about your weed warrant. We want to know where this girl is." And she still was like, "I'm not coming. I'm not coming." She's being really. And you'll hear the police officer at one point even says to her, "Look, I am going to find you and make you talk. You are my number one suspect now." And so yeah.
But the last ping from Sydney's phone came from Wilbur, Nebraska on the 15th. Now, Wilbur is a very small town with less than 2,000 people. It's about 40 miles from Lincoln. And this isn't good news because the case is in danger of going cold.
Yeah.
Sydney's friends started setting up the Finding Sydney Loofe Facebook page on Facebook. Anybody could post information there if they had any leads or tips or anything like that. But the whole region was involved in looking for Sydney. This was a huge story locally.
Mm-hmm.
250 people got together at Sydney's high school for a candlelight vigil, although her family didn't attend because it was too difficult for them. Billboards and posters were being put up all over Nebraska.
People all over, like truckers knew about it. They were looking out for Aubrey on the run with Audrey. Yeah.
Have you seen her? And
Yep. Yeah.
Sydney had a tattoo on her forearm that said, "Everything will be wonderful someday." Put a knife in that. Not the tattoo. but police weren't saying anything about the case. They hadn't even released the information about the cell phone ping in Wilbur, but the Loofes drew their own conclusion that Sydney had been abducted, but it had been a couple weeks since she disappeared. The police had been keeping Audrey as a person of interest, and finally they started digging into Audrey herself. And when they finally did, they realized that she wasn't Audrey at all, but she was in fact Bailey Boswell. Bailey had a long rap sheet of fraud charges, including duping two people out of $400,000. 14 charges, all with the possibility of up to 10 years in prison. Now they could bring her in. They also found out where she lived. She had a basement apartment in, take a guess, Wilbur, Nebraska. Police got a search warrant to search the apartment in Wilbur. Neither Sydney nor Bailey were there, but the apartment had been cleaned spotless very recently. The smell of bleach hit the cops like running into a brick wall. Although they did find a few things that raised some eyebrows. 17 things to be exact. You want to tell us what they were, Chet?
I think maybe you're referring to the sex toys.
I am.
Yeah. No, they had quite the assortment of sex toys, and Aubrey certainly liked. Aubrey certainly was into some non-traditional sexual practices. So
I think what we're seeing here, honestly, is the origin story of David Parker Ray.
Who's that?
The toy box killer.
Oh,
the guy out in New Mexico that had that shipping container that he turned into a torture dungeon.
Right. Yeah. I wonder about Aubrey sometimes. What he was up to before Bailey,
but they also found some Viagra. But police believed that Sydney was dead, and now the only lead that they had was Bailey Boswell. Well, she wouldn't be hard to find. She didn't cover her tracks very well, and she even made a video posted on social media saying that she was innocent. If you're explaining, you're lying. Or you're losing. And all she'd have to do all she would have had to do is go talk to the police, because at that point that's basically what the police wanted as far as she knew. But this is Bailey's.
I met her on a Tuesday. We drove around Lincoln, smoked weed, had a great time. We hit it off. I dropped her off at home, picked her up the next night at her house. We made our way to my house where we smoked. I went to take her home, and she asked me to drop her off at a friend's house, so I did so. I mean, I haven't heard from her since. I didn't have anything to do with this, and I hope that Sydney is found very soon. She is a sweet, amazing girl.
And then we did this, and then we went and got a cheeseburger. She sounds like a teenager.
Well, and it was she was just reading a script that Aubrey supposedly, according to Bailey and Aubrey, I think, in fact, that she was just, he gave her the lines, she repeated the lines, and when the officer pressed her like beyond the things that she was told to say, she was completely flustered. She had no idea how to respond once she had to like come up with it off the top of her head.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And also makes me wonder, because you said that when they were catfishing these people, it was actually Aubrey who the victim was chatting with.
As far as I know, and there are other people. I have at least one other person who said that it would be, what would happen would be Aubrey would be the one texting the women, and then he would hand the phone off to Bailey if they had to like get on the phone together to talk, because lots of women are smart, they want to know.
Like if he's sitting there texting, it's like, well, yeah, it would sure be good it would sure be fun to go out and boogie, something like that, right. I mean, but yeah, it's just, well, I mean, if he was 49, I can't remember what year it said that he was born in. Do you remember?
Not off the top of my head.
Well, he was 51 at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but still, I mean,
hence the Viagra. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, he's either a very young Gen X or a very old boomer.
He would be Gen X. Okay. Yeah, he'd be Gen X.
So he was probably born around 70. How old is he now?
Oh boy, I don't know. I can find out how old Aubrey Trail is, or when he was born, because I have this right here. Let's see.
Oh.
Let me see. So they capture it. He goes into his long story about his childhood, and you would think I would know right where in this book.
Hold on, we're going to do what we call an ADD break here.
Okay, go ahead. Aubrey was born on September 7th, 1966.
September 7th?
Yeah.
September That's my 7th. Birthday.
Is it really?
That's my birthday.
1966.
No, I was born in 73, but still.
Okay. Yeah,
no, but that would make him a late boomer. He's not Gen X, thank God.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, late boomer. Okay, yeah, 1966.
Fucker's got my birthday.
Yeah. Well, great. You can wish him a happy birthday.
We'll be editing that out. Oh man. But police were on to Bailey. They were using CCTV footage from stores and hotels to track her movement, and probably from the casino as well, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But now, I'm sorry Kevin's not here to hear this, but now we have a date.
We got a date. You know what that means. We got a date. That's for the true crime machine.
No, that is not me singing
Okay.
or playing guitar. But, November 30th, 2017, just 15 days after Sydney disappeared, Bailey Boswell was arrested in Branson, Missouri, 6 hours south of Wilbur, Nebraska. And they had also made another discovery. In the CCTV footage, Bailey wasn't alone. There was an older man with her in all of this footage, 51-year-old Aubrey Trail. They, air quote, dated, did drugs together, and like I mentioned earlier, they stole antiques. And sugar daddy was a better way to describe him. Well, sugar daddy with benefits.
Aubrey I don't think Aubrey did drugs. I think he was a teetotaler. At that point in his life. I think he was watching his health.
Aubrey didn't do drugs?
No, not at that point. He was
okay.
I don't even think he drank, really.
Really?
Yeah, no, he was a teetotaler.
Interesting.
Fried chicken. That was his drug of choice.
That was his drug of choice.
Yeah.
Do as much damage with fried chicken to yourself as you could as if you're an alcoholic. Not the same type of damage, but still.
Yeah.
But police tracked Aubrey down and arrested him, but neither of them had said anything about what happened to Sydney. The strange thing was this antique racket, and they were making very good money at it. Aubrey had this ring of girls and women who would help him with this racket. As they got woven into the mix, they would sleep with Aubrey and each other. So it definitely is a little sex cult. The home base was Wilbur, but they were all in different areas. This is why Aubrey bounced around so much. It also made it more difficult to track him down since he wouldn't be with the same woman in the same places all the time. Like he might pick Michelle up in Kansas City and take her to, I don't know, Omaha and do some stuff there or whatever. And then he might pick Bailey up and go down to Missouri or whatever. So it's pretty clever if you think about it. I mean, I hate to admit that, but on December 4th, Sydney's remains were found scattered an hour west of Wilbur near Edgar, Nebraska. She had been cut into 14 pieces and put into 14 garbage bags and just dumped along the back country roads. Only 13 of the bags were found, and Sydney was able to be identified by the tattoo on her forearm that I mentioned earlier. Everything will be wonderful someday. Her cause of death was asphyxiation and Petecial.
The blood spotting, on the skin.
Petecial hemorrhaging.
Mm-hmm.
They're like blood blisters, but worse and bigger. And there's several ways that you can get them, but what's likely with Sydney was intense vomiting, severe coughing spells, or prolonged crying, which increases blood pressure and capillaries. I didn't get that from any source. That was just me speculating.
Strangulation, too, will cause it, I think.
Strangulation? Yeah.
The forensic pathologist, I think they said that could be called. Could cause that hemorrhaging. Because all the pressure from the strangulation.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Like when your face turns beet red when you're being strangled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But police went back to Bailey's apartment to test for evidence that somebody had been butchered there, but there was nothing there. There was no blood spatter or anything. But it was still time. It was time to put these two chuckleheads on trial. The trial began in February of 2018. Aubrey first was using the Shaggy defense.
It wasn't me.
But he soon dropped that and began confessing. He admitting to causing Sydney's death, but said that it was an accident. He's pining for manslaughter at that point, maybe? Or do you think he was trying to just get off completely, be exonerated?
Well, he called the 6 o'clock news and testified. So I don't know. He's not a legal. He's not again, he's not a genius, and he's like he's not very tactical. So what he was, I think the I don't really know why he made up those excuses. Like it was a sex game gone wrong and stuff like that. Maybe for manslaughter, but
Yeah. Well, I forgot to play Aubrey's little social media clip, so I'm going to play that now.
oh yeah.
We spent the last few days watching ourselves being slammed and crucified in the newspapers, and we thought it was time we had our say. The police department apparently wants everyone to believe that we're hiding, that we haven't talked to them, that we're avoiding them. We both wrote long statements telling them everything we know. We repeatedly called the Lincoln Police Department. We were told to quit blowing up their phone, even though we told them, hey, do you understand that we're the people you're looking for? They're telling you that they have all these leads, that Sydney was last seen in Wilbur. What they're not telling you is that we are the two people who gave them all these leads.
Is he full of shit?
Oh yeah. I mean, anytime Aubrey's talking, he's full of shit. You can
Okay.
just there's and it's he's the classic con man. You know, it's like enough truth to sort of like around lies. So you're always disoriented. You never know exactly what is true and what isn't. And I think that's the point.
I like what you told me yesterday. Like if he were to tell you that you were on fire, you better look in the mirror just to verify it.
Yeah, before you get wet, you might want to check
before
out the mirror. Yeah, because he's just always lying. It's he's a very disorienting person to talk to because of that.
Yeah. But as for Bailey's statement, he said that as far as he knew, he wasn't charged with anything, and that he wasn't running from anything. And it sure didn't look like it in those videos. He also said that they had repeatedly called the Lincoln Police Department trying to give tips about the case and were brushed off, like, was in the clip we just heard.
Mm-hmm.
Still, the facts came out, starting with Bailey using the alias Audrey to lure Sydney in. November 14th was date one, and they were just going to hang and smoke weed. It went well, so they agreed for the second date on the 15th. They went back to Bailey's apartment, but what Sydney didn't know was what Bailey had really been up to. She had been luring women back to the apartment in Wilbur and paying them to fulfill Aubrey's sexual fantasies. She said that Sydney was paid $5,000 to do this. And
a complete lie, an utter lie. Yeah, Sydney had no idea.
Yeah, she had. Yeah, that's what I thought. Is that what Bailey told you?
Oh yeah. Bailey told me no. Sydney had no clue. Sydney thought she was out on a date with a young woman who liked her.
Okay.
Period. That Sydney never partook in any of Aubrey Trail's shenanigans ever. She was never, and she wouldn't have. She would have been horrified by him.
Now, I don't want you to go into detail. And I just want to know, is Bailey's version of what happened there in the apartment, like in any type of detail in your book?
Yes. Yeah.
So
No, I won't. But I started the book wondering about Bailey's, how much of a victim Bailey was in all of this, because of, as you pointed out earlier, her childhood was weird, and well, some of her childhood was weird. Her college years were awful. She was a sex worker for a while. So like, I wondered, like, was this woman just really broken when she got connected with Alan Gambino, Aubrey Trail, and how much, and so, but by the end, I was wondering how much of a monster is this woman, So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was yeah. It's an intense moment in the book, and it was an intense moment to be a part of.
Yeah. One of Aubrey's fantasies was strangulation, and Sydney was excited to do this. I doubt that. But things went too far, and Aubrey accidentally strangled Sydney to death. Aubrey and Bailey panicked and decided to dismember Sydney. Not call an ambulance or anything like that. Nah, let's just cut her up.
Dumbass!
Again, 100% Aubrey's version. Like the cops, the DA, the prosecution, they have their version of events. The thing about the sex game gone wrong with Sydney, again, that is Aubrey. That is Aubrey talking. So,
right.
Yeah.
But I guess he was still panicking when he completely drained her of blood before cutting her up and cleaning it up so well that luminol wouldn't even detect anything. Sounds to me like he was a regular pro. What do you think?
I've
like this might not be his first murder.
I mean, the man's 52 years old. Does that 49, 50? Is that really when you start doing this? Right.
You start. Some, a certain percentage of people start in late teens, but most start in their 20s, and each decade the number goes down further and further and further.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, I think I've only covered one that started when he was in his 40s.
Yes, right. So, and the thing about Aubrey is that's interesting that people will see in my book is he spent a long time in prison as a very young man, and he kind of came of age in prison.
Prison university?
Yeah, and it was very the Tennessee prisons, I'm sure, are never a fun place to be. But at this time, in this time period when he was coming of age in this prison, it was particularly rough, and he had some rough experiences in that prison. And I think he kind of hit the ground running when he got out. But I've never been able to prove anything beyond that or beyond.
If you can get him to talk about it, that might be another book for you.
Aubrey and I talk. He likes this book. He's pretty happy with it.
Later in testimony, Aubrey said that Sydney had seizures while they were doing their thing. So which is it? Was it they accidentally strangled her, or was it the seizures? But he also said that the best way to get her out of the apartment was to cut her up because he couldn't carry her. And the whole freak accident / panic thing got torn apart. I mean, prosecutors had evidence that showed that the whole thing was premeditated. Nebraska has two types of first-degree murder. Class 1 requires premeditation, and criminal conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree is also included. And the prosecutors had all of the proof that they needed. CCTV footage of Aubrey and Bailey purchasing drop cloths, tin snips, hacksaw, bleach, garbage bags, and even a manual meat grinder, both during the day on the 15th as well as days leading up to the 15th. The landlord testified that she had smelled a overpowering smell of bleach coming from the apartment on the 16th. So unless they were butchering a deer, I'd say their goose was cooked at that point. Now, what's up with the meat grinder?
I beats me. They bought that at an antique store in Lincoln, where Aubrey had a booth. I think he had a couple booths.
Well, so you don't think there's any Willie Picton type stuff going on here where they ground up human remains? And
I hate to speculate. I mean, I just know what they had. I know what they bought, and I know what the Sydney's remains were like. Missing a lot of organs and stuff, but yeah, I'd hate to speculate why they would buy these things, roasting pans. I don't know.
Okay.
I know what they bought, and the imagination runs wild. And places I don't like going.
Especially imagination runs wild, especially if you're a true crime host that has covered, has been doing this for 4.5 years.
Yeah, and and you think about Sydney, and it's just like when you start thinking about her and those items, it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It is. I mean, yeah, I can. Okay, here's another question I want to know. Like, I could tell these stories all day long and not have it affect me one bit. My original, I can separate myself from it and whatnot. My original co-host Todd, he, he's been described as a gentle soul, and he really was. I mean, there was a couple of cases. There was one case where he literally checked out in it, and just I had to finish it on my own because he couldn't handle it. Now, part of that is part of that. It's not just that I because I've been doing this for a while. No, I mean I hit the ground running with being able to separate myself because as we talked about yesterday, I had a hell of a childhood myself. So it doesn't affect me like this. But even when I told my story on episodes 10 and 11, Todd didn't know about them at the time, and I had known him for 36 years. And that wasn't something I had talked about. The podcast was the first time I had ever talked about it, and I'm just talking about it like it's nothing. Like, I went to work today, then washed the car, went grocery shopping. I'm talking about it like that. Now, how was it with you in writing the sensitive topics on this book? The sensitive parts of this book. I mean, were you able to separate, or did it get to you?
I mean, I had to separate myself as I was writing it, and I had to separate myself as I was researching or talking to Bailey or Aubrey. But I mean, I don't know. It's hard. It's stuck in my head, and it's very hard for me to sort of get some of these things out of my head. And I think it's probably because I really dwelled on this story for 5 years, and I met so many people who were involved, and I mean, there wasn't a day that went by for 5 years where I wasn't thinking about Sydney Loofe. And I mean, still to this day, there's not a day that goes by that I don't have Sydney Loofe in my thoughts. And so I don't know. It's bothered me. I honestly, I don't know. Like, it was what happened to Sydney was I just had to kind of like detach myself, write it, and then go take a walk and get away from it for a while. So it was, it still haunts me a little bit. But yeah,
that's good information right there. I was just curious.
Yeah. No, it affects everyone differently. And I think other cases I can talk about, the people about like the toy box killer, right? And all these other cases, I can talk about those things and read about them. And it doesn't affect me the same way that like this does. I think it's just proximity to the story,
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. I like that type of, thinking about that stuff.
So we're getting the story, and we're getting a little bit of interview type stuff. But wait, there's more. The coroner said that Sydney's bones had markings that could have only come from a hacksaw. They tested the marks against the one that Aubrey had bought, and surprise, surprise, they matched up. Not to mention there were defensive wounds that she had on her, that her body parts had on her. So that Sydney had fought them as best as she could. Plus, there's footage of Aubrey stalking Sydney at work during the day on the 15th, the day after the first date.
Yeah,
that was kind of creepy. And he's just there, and he's just kind of as she walks by, he just kind of just turns his head and looks, looks perfectly innocent, like a man, checking out an attractive woman. Yeah,
Yep.
nothing wrong there, unless there is something wrong, which there was in this case.
Yeah, I think he bought Drano and rope at her store.
Yeah,
I think that's what he bought at Menards. I know he
Did
bought rope. I don't remember if he bought Drano, but I think he did.
He didn't go to her checkout counter, did he?
No.
Oh, that
No,
would
he
have.
didn't. Yeah. No, he didn't.
Aubrey still swore up and down that Sydney's murder was an accident, but Bailey had nothing to do with it. But with all of this evidence, the Shaggy defense just wasn't going to be holding up anymore.
No.
It wasn't me.
So, what does Audrey do next? Or Aubrey? He somehow managed to smuggle a razor into the courtroom, and he jumped up from his wheelchair. Did I mention that he was in a wheelchair? My guess is that the wheelchair was probably provided to him by the defense attorney for like sympathy.
No, he had I think the reason he was in a wheelchair was he had cardiac issues, supposedly heart attack, stroke, something like that. But no, trust me,
I don't know. Don't kill people.
Well, I don't think that his defense attorneys certainly weren't going to be going out of their way to create fake sympathy for Aubrey. Yeah, but yeah,
some of them do.
Some of them do.
Quite sickening.
Yeah, no, these two guys are good. These two, again, this is one of those rare cases where pretty much the good guys are the good guys, bad guys are bad guys, and the attorneys are doing their job, and they're just kind of, it's one of those cases. It's a rare case, I think, maybe in true crime where, pretty much Aubrey and Bailey are the bad people, and then everyone else is pretty decent.
Okay, but he sat up in his wheelchair and he yelled, "Bailey's innocent and I curse you all." And then he slashed at his own neck with the razor. But he was restrained before any severe damage was done, but he was removed so they could stitch him up. But the trial went on without him. But Bailey still continued with the Shaggy defense.
It wasn't me.
And basically never deviated from what she had said in her social media video.
Mm-hmm.
But the proof was there. It's in the CCTV footage. She lured Sydney there for the express purpose of killing her, and whether Sydney freaked out when she saw Aubrey and didn't want to engage, or whether they just decided that they needed to kill somebody, we'll never know. But the one thing we do know, they planned her murder.
Mm-hmm.
But this was Aubrey's trial. Bailey started later. When Bailey went on trial, it came out that the two of them had set out to take a life together. And I guess that she didn't realize that the Shaggy defense didn't hold up when they caught them on camera. She said that she had used Tinder to lure women to Aubrey for their cult. She actually called it a cult in court. And there were witnesses that backed up Bailey's story that Aubrey called himself Daddy Vampire, and that Bailey and his other girls were his witches. Sydney was supposed to be a witch as well. Or she was supposed to become a witch. Or maybe she already was. As far as
Sydney, certainly, yes. No. Oh, as far as Aubrey was concerned, no, she was never a witch. No,
it wasn't one of those. I sensed it in you, and it drew me towards you. So I knew that I had to find you and nurture you. It wasn't one of those types of indoctrinations.
No, because I think Sydney had no idea Aubrey Trail existed until she walked into that apartment and saw the most, like, this hideous man.
She saw the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Yeah,
probably Porky Pigging it. Yeah.
And so she had no idea, none, until she walked into that apartment. And if he had tried the whole vampire thing, tried to like lure her, like she wouldn't have gone for any of it. So
she'd have been like, "Y'all are crazy. I'm out of here."
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Aubrey, though, was relishing in the media attention. The media was calling their coven a sex cult and comparing him to Charles Manson.
He loved that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're no Charles Manson. Not even close. Charles Manson could do it, could attract the girls on his own. He didn't need to catfish. He didn't have to catfish anybody. He'd just be like, "Hey, baby, I think you want to have some fun," and that's how it would start, because it was back in the 70s when all hitchhiking, all that, camper vans. That was just the way that the world back then. But but no, he was no Charles Manson. Bailey, Aubrey, and some of the witches would even talk about killing. Even one of the girls killing another one. Aubrey believed that by killing someone, their cult would be granted magical powers, and Sydney was just a lucky girl. So, to the shock of nobody, Aubrey and Bailey were convicted of Sydney's murder. In 2019, Aubrey Trail was found guilty of criminal conspiracy to commit murder in the first degree. And on June 9th of 2021, he was sentenced to death for murder, class 1. October 14th, 2020, Bailey was found guilty of first-degree murder and to conspiracy to commit murder, and guilty of improper disposal of human remains. The jury just took 3.5 hours to find her guilty. Bailey avoided death penalty, although she was sentenced to life with no parole. And that's pretty much what I have, other than the fact that there's like benches in Nebraska with plaques on them in remembrance to Sydney Loofe, and there's like quite a few of them.
And there's a scholarship in her name.
Cool.
For young women who want to go into law enforcement, I think is the requirement.
Was it headed by her friends that were sleuthing at the beginning of this?
No. Brooklyn McChrystal was the one who set up the Tinder profile, and what a friend. I mean, really, just what a great friend.
Yeah. So why wasn't Aubrey himself convicted of first-degree murder rather than just criminal conspiracy to commit?
Well, he was first-degree murder, criminal conspiracy, but he didn't. He pled guilty to disposal of human remains, and he pled guilty to disposal of human remains, I think, because the photos are so horrific. They wanted to keep them. They wanted to keep the photos out of the jury's hands. Like, the photos are pretty horrific.
Yeah, we don't need to see those.
Nobody needs to see those, but but the jury had to look at all of them.
Oh yeah, but that's something, just having to see the photos or whatever, that might get, that might kind of get to me if I was had to serve on the jury. However, if I was asked to serve on the jury, when they were clearing me, I would let them know, hey, I am the host of a true crime podcast.
Right, that'll keep you off a jury, maybe.
But is there anything else that you want to add? I mean, I pretty much, did feel like I did what I wanted to. I just basically told the story, what was based on what was out there already, but just sprinkled in a few other details.
Yeah, I think if people are interested in this case, and
this wasn't one that I necessarily had on my list to cover. I mean, it was something that I would get to eventually. But when I got a chance to have you on here, I was just like, okay, it's getting fast tracked.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah. And always, but thoughts are with Sydney's friends and family. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot for coming on. I'm sorry, Kevin missed a good one, but like I said, he was moving. He was on back. He was back on for a little while, and then he also messaged me and said that they were getting a pretty bad storm while they were while we were on. So I guess he lost his internet signal. Maybe could have even lost power. I don't know.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
But,
Well, hopefully everything's all right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, check out the book. The link is in the description. And if you like us, tell a friend. If you hate us, tell an enemy. And until next week, later. Say bye, Chet.
Bye, Chet.